And this is part of our process. They come from these different agencies to the Secretary of State's office. We go through them. We rip off the top part of it. We look through the information, make sure that it's filled out correctly, that it's signed. We put them with the counties where they go. Here is, I believe, Monongalia County, Kanawha County I had here, Berkeley County. So we've already separated these. We haven't separated these yet because they've just come to us. And then once we get these, we then send these to Kanawha, Berkeley, Monongalia, and all the other counties as well, who then goes through them and looks through them and will hand type them into their system. We'll type them into the system. Sometimes the handwriting is difficult, which causes it to be difficult to read, which causes it to be incomplete. So, what am I asking? I want to get rid of all this part of it. We're not going to completely get rid of what you just saw there because it's still able to write it down. But what I am proposing and what we are proposing in the Secretary of State's office is voter registration modernization. And it's a perfect opportunity to show how we can have interagency cooperation, interoperability, and it can take place among the various agencies. And we want to start out with one little piece of it. So first off, voter registration modernization reduces administrative cost because most voter registration transactions require significant handling of paper documents with no real opportunity to be able to audit them. Voter registration actually, let me tell you that it's an online process that cannot be completed unless all of the informational fields are completed. It can cross-reference street files or other databases to standardize the data entry. The system can also be customized to limit duplicate entries, to check against databases of convicted felons, incapacitated citizens, or deceased individuals, and potentially interact with other commercially available databases that could reduce the number of voters inadvertently registered in more than one state. It is accessible. Voter registration modernization can be designed to operate on a variety of operating systems which are designed to accommodate various disabilities. It may be accessed at any time, day or night, making voter registration more accessible to shift workers and others with alternate scheduling issues. It also offers, which is very important to the Secretary of State's office and county clerks, a timestamp. Because sometimes when we get closer to deadline, when's the timestamp? We just had a voter registration deadline of August 9th. Was the August 9th deadline when the Secretary of State office received those or when the county clerk received them? Because remember, we still have that process of when we received them on August 9th, by the time they would get them on the 10th or the 11th. So this can help to clarify that a little bit. This has bipartisan congressional support. Both House Democrats and Republicans have introduced this. This voter registration modernization, quite frankly, would put us, West Virginia, compliant with a portion of the National Voter Registration Act, the motor voter part, which does not allow for someone to have to fill out information twice. Real quick, if you're filling out your driver's license and you put all that information in there, you should not have to fill out that same information again for voter registration. This would help to make us compliant with that. In 2010, just to date, we're now at September 14th, we have had 19,041 voter registration transactions that were completed at the Division of Motor Vehicles alone. It's 19,000 since the beginning of January. And nearly 100% of those transactions would, by definition, have qualified for voter registration modernization transaction since its signature would have already been on file with the DMV for electronic transfer. So speaking of the DMV, this is quickly how well this would work in our starting point for voter registration modernization. Under this system, a voter could access an online voter registration application from any internet-linked computer. It could include computers at DMV, DHHR. The application will be hosted on the Secretary of State's website. Local offices and other interest organizations could then provide a link to our host service. To apply, the voter would complete all required fields in the online application document. And if completing the form concurrently with an application of driver's license, then no duplicate information, as we talked about, would be required to be provided by the voter. Here's the key part. The voter will affirmatively approve the transfer of their own, the voter's signature, from the database that's on file with the Division of Motor Vehicles to the county clerk's office for use as approved signature for all election purposes. The voter gives permission to use that signature, that stored signature, for their voter registration card. The voter's application with attached signature will then be forwarded to a holding file for review and approval by the local county clerk, and from that point the voter registration process follows identical confirmation practices as traditional registrations transactions now occur. Talked a little bit about the DMV, and we have been working closely with the Division of Motor Vehicles. We've met with them on several occasions. A couple of folks are here, Doug and Steve, and I don't want to speak for them, but their one concern that they had issued with us is, do they have the legality to be able to transfer that signature? Well, the voter ultimately gives the authority to be able to do that. There are 7 other states that already do this. States like Washington State, Nevada, Arizona, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, and Indiana are those 7 states that already do it. The Brennan Center for Justice is very much in favor of something like this, quite frankly, saying by bringing the registration system into the 21st century, we will eliminate unnecessary bureaucratic processes, save states money, free up precious resources for election officials, and simplify the process for voters.